Hello, lovelies. Today is Wednesday, December the 10th, 2025, and it's just afternoon Eastern time here in Florida. And today is the start of a new 260-day cycle in Sagittarius. Here we go. So we're back up at the top. We begin this spiral all over again. Today, the moon is waning, and this is in Virgo. I've chosen to make the video at this time because I always choose the heart chakra time, which is between 11 and 1, wherever possible, to focus on code, because my passion is about healing the heart and changing the ancestral patterns through that system, healing the heart. So I just checked today the moon sign, and at this time, so again, you can do this wherever you are in the world, and you can tailor this specifically to you. The moon is in Virgo at 5 degrees, waning. So we have the next new moon on the 19th of December, so quite a way to go, that energy. And I'm just going to read you the story that goes with that degree, Virgo at 5 degrees. And this does play into more information on the bigger picture. Virgo at 5 degrees, this is on the website aquaorfire.net, and you can check out every single degree in your natal chart on here. And this is really, really magical. This is totally Sagittarius. Know thyself and going deeper. A skull on a pole at the entrance to a dark wood. The mind of death always knows ahead of time each and every danger, problem, and dilemma. The Cassandra complex, warning self and the world of what will go wrong. Cautioning, tempering, and suppressing, you can afford no mistakes. The mind is set upon doing it just right from start to finish. The mind is set upon doing it just right from start to finish. When there are hitches and snags, you hit the roof with qualms and doubts, the self against itself. The mind standing over the spontaneous one and saying, no, you can't go that way. Forebodings are a self-fulfilling prophecy. The self proves itself right and wrong, right about nothing working and wrong to be in that position. This is a mindset to be eroded and worn out, supplanted by fresh inquiry with no agenda, no worry, and just the truth that there is death in everything and life to follow if you let go into it completely. So this is a really profound message for all of us at this time. And I'm just in the process of creating information that I'm going to upload onto my websites and onto my Substack account. Just trying to fit everything in at the moment. But again, this is really key to patterns around how we try and do things that we can't really manage as human beings. This is how we've been conditioned to just ever expand and do more and more and more. And of course, this is key to this cycle of Sagittarius initiation. Jupiter, the planet of expansion. But remember, we're in a human being body. And the reason why we're in a human being body is to know its limitations. So often our mind can keep writing checks that our body cannot cash. And as you get older, you really realize the limitations. And often you will also experience harsh lessons around those limitations if you don't pay attention. So again, this is mastery of the delusions and illusions of the mind that drives us, the emotional mind that isn't logical, isn't rational. And again, this is so key to today because, again, this is today's energy. Red dragon is ruled by Neptune. In order to become wise, we have to learn these lessons and how much we can embody through doing, through being, through feeling, rather than just what the mind tells us, the Virgo mind, one aspect of the Virgo energy. So this cycle is running every 5 years, and it's taken me an experiential amount of time to actually do that and then start looking at the bigger picture cycle, because I have been doing a lot of other things just to move into different spaces in order to repeat patterns and learn from them and hopefully become wiser without repeating my ancestors' wounding stories. And so, again, the more we know about our ancestor stories, we can see the potential pitfalls and not repeat these wounding cycles. So we move beyond surviving into thriving. So these 5 year cycles, basically, this is how the Tzolkin works. It has a 260-day pattern, and this runs continuously without end. This is the Ouroboros. And so this circle just keeps going over and over, this spiral. And each time it's initiated, it has a slightly different energy to it, even over the 5 years, because we're going backwards in time. And so this particular cycle goes back to 2015. And then before that, it is a different energy. So we've got Aries, fire, Sagittarius, fire, Virgo, earth, Taurus, earth, and Aquarius, earth. Sorry, Aquarius, air. Then Libra, air, Cancer, water, and then returning back to Aries, fire. And this is the pattern of 8 that I've chosen to speak about. The 5 year cycle of 8 different energies, which is again key to the Venus cycle as well. So if we go backwards in time, what I'm passionate about is really helping people use this on a practical level. And the more that you know about astrology, it's helpful. The more you know about your own personal astrology, it's really, really helpful. But again, any of these things you can put in a search engine and you can explore more. And this is what I have done my whole life, is learn about things. And I think that is key to why we're here. So if you go back every 5 years to 2015, so we're going back 10 years there because we're in 2025, then you can look at your own personal cycles and see what was happening for you. You can also look at what was happening on the planet at that time as well. And this cycle is also going to go forward. There'll be some slight changes on this, but it's going to go forward to 2040. So altogether, we've got a cycle of 25 years running. So what we're working with now is the previous 9 month cycle of Aries. And so Aries is the initiating energy. It's the spring equinox, it's the hero, it's the heroine, the time when in the Northern Hemisphere we go out on the land and we start to do things that we do in spring. And again, in terms of the earth, this is a time when the energy awakens, where things start to grow and things start to really have powerful energy at that time. And it's the same with Aries. So wherever Aries is in your chart, and if you're an Aries in particular, or you've got a lot of Aries energy, or you have significant patterns with Aries, then this last 260-day cycle that's just ended yesterday will have really impacted on you and your life. And in terms of this cycle, we are now going to embody what began in the last 260 days. So again, if you use this on a practical level, look at what was initiating for you over the past 9 months. So the last cycle began on the 25th of March. What was coming in that was a new story for you, a new beginning? And it's not necessarily going to be a positive story either. It's often challenging to really look at these things that happen to us if they don't match what we want to create. But remember, there's a higher wisdom in the universe, and that often we are stuck in these old programs, in these old patterns that we've inherited from our culture, from our ancestors, and we're still running these programs. We're still holding their fear. We're still holding their experiences until we learn how to change them in our body and heal them. And then we can create a different mindset. So this is really important. Now, in the Mayan system, there is a 13 moon calendar, and the 13 moons begins on the 25th of July every year with the day out of time, and the 26th of July. So this, again, can seem confusing in the beginning because you've got your 260-day spiral, but you've also got your 13 moon spiral that doesn't change. That stays the same year in and year out. And this is also the beginning of the Mayan year. 25th of July, 26th of July is Leo time astrologically. And so again, this is another wheel. So if you look at all of these wheels of time and their systems of time that have been calculated for thousands and thousands of years and hold great wisdom. Nothing is random in the universe. And the more that you learn about these systems, the more that you learn about astrology, this can be extremely healing because often we blame ourselves for the choices that we make. And to become very aware that there is a system at work that we can learn from and that we can align with and that we can be empowered by, especially at this challenging time. So sometimes we can lose hope, we can feel scared naturally, but the more that you start to learn these systems when it's the right time for you, the more you can trust that there is a plan, a divine plan. And often that does go through dark territory and challenging shadow lands. But it is a doorway to us living as human beings in a totally different way. But we have to do the process, we have to embody it. It's why we're here. So, this 13 moon system is a system of 28 days. And so you can calculate your galactic signature, your Mayan sign, and learn a lot about that. You can also calculate your Mayan moon sign. It all comes up, and that's a whole different story. The moon is the ninth Mayan sign, it's the gateway point. The moon is about our mother's emotional storyline. And this is so key. So when these spirals come in, they come in with a particular solar energy. So they come in, as I've said, Aries, Sagittarius, Virgo, Taurus, and so on. That has a whole different flavor to it. And so focusing on the elements, again, understanding about your own pattern. So, for example, you may be a Leo fire and you may have a moon in Taurus. So, your sun sign is in fire, your moon sign is in earth. And if you've got a moon in Taurus, it's very powerful, it's very intuitive, it's exalted in Taurus, which means that our emotional story can be used to create something practically. It can be used very effectively for manifestation. And the more that we heal, the more we become aware, then we can manifest things in a whole different way. And it's a whole different system to go to a higher level rather than the mundane, where we might want to manifest a lot of money, material things. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but it doesn't create something lasting inside. And on a shadow level, it can create a consumer mind to just keep consuming and buying things in order to change our emotional states, none of which is long lasting. And we have to do more and more of it because that's how the emotional mind works. Whether it's drugs, whether it's money, whether it's power, when we don't heal, this part of us expands and into madness. And this is what we're seeing on the earth right now. This is a system that we are stuck in many Western type countries. So, knowing about what elements you contain within yourself through knowing your astrology can be extremely enlightening and useful. And this is what I'm passionate about sharing. It's changed my life immensely. It really, really has helped me and illuminated my path. When in the beginning I was very confused about what was going on, I had no awareness about ancestral patterns intellectually, but I trusted the process. And it just becomes more and more illuminating and powerful, and you just surrender to the process. So each moon, again with the Mayan system, it runs through the number 13, whereas the Gregorian calendar is a number 12, which is very limiting because we get stuck on a 12-step process. And the power of the number 13 is that we create a shift. So that there's 12 houses in astrology, and we are the number 13 in my perception. There's lots of different perspectives on this, of course. My journey experientially has been about learning this system for the last 15 years. So to use this experientially every day creates a whole different way of being a human being. So each moon has 28 days. And so on the 25th, 26th of July every year, we begin with magnetic moon. And if you are born as a Leo, then you'll be part of this process of magnetic moon. So initiating new perspectives around what we're attracting with our moon as well, with our emotional story. That's very powerful. And then the next moon is lunar moon, and that's Virgo. And then the next moon is electric moon, and that's Libra, and so on and so on. And so the 10th of December, Sagittarius today, moon 5, day 26. And so moon 5 is about the mastery of the emotional story. How do we become a master of our emotional story instead of a slave to it? Because when we come into this life, we are creating straight away. And most of what we've created until we actually awaken is unconscious. We're just repeating old patterns. And this is the whole trip, really, is just bringing the unconscious into our conscious awareness and really understanding that we don't know what we don't know, that as we heal, we're ready for the next step. We're ready to embody the consciousness that is available all the time. It's just our own limitations, our ancestors' limitations block us. So I hope that makes sense. You know, when you don't feel good and you see something happening in your world that is a repeat, it's often frustrating. It's I'm not getting what I want. I'm not. This week's energy is huge for that. You know, our ego, our childlike self that hasn't yet been raised to consciousness often wants to push things forward for security, wants to make things happen instead of waiting for when it's the right time. So this week's energy is very much around a strong energy coming in of Mars and a square with Saturn. And so when we don't feel that we have to do something straight away and we can sit back and watch things unfold as well as, taking action, again, this is a mastery pattern, then it's a give and take. It's a give and take with other human beings as well, but it's like not trying to force your will onto a situation or onto other people. And this takes patience and allowing oneself to trust the bigger picture plan instead of panicking, rushing into things. And that's been a huge journey for me because of what's been happening on the planet for the last 5 years and how that has impacted on me and my family as it has on, I would guess, every single person on the planet. So to stop being reactionary and to be able to be still and assess a situation. So, in other words, not to be triggered into fight, flight, freeze, fawn, and really to master oneself. That's the key to everything. Now, red overtone moon is part of the 13-day process of red serpent. So, again, you can keep expanding on information. It's a portal and it's in the blue castle of transformation. So, this is how I've learned how to keep bringing in more information. All of this may sound like complete alien language to you, and I understand that. My audience is limited right now. This isn't general information out there to the masses. And I make these videos primarily for myself to look back on and also try and let go of any limitations. So, because I don't know where people are on their journey, and I don't try and limit that. Okay, so when we get to Red Serpent, which is the fifth Mayan sign, this is all about our relationships, our Kundalini. When we get to the 52-day process of Red Serpent, we go into this huge 10 portal day. And Red Moon is here. As you can see, it's a portal of Akashic record. And what I see that as is a general collective unconscious Akashic record of major storylines on the planet, of which we will have a storyline as part of that. So, again, this is why it's really useful to map your personal code and to understand what that means for you individually. If you want to know more about this, please contact me and we can have a dialogue about how this works for you. This is what I'm passionate about, is when people are ready to come in to a different process, that I am able to share resources and how we all come in together to do that. So I'm learning lots of new information at the moment. This is a key time for me. It's my midheaven time. It's where the focus is on one level, it's on my career. If you use that general system, it's when I was born, it's where the maximum light was being revealed. And it's also my south node as well. And my south node is really about past life and all of my experiences that I'm bringing to the table in this life and how I communicate those experiences. So, the moon aspect of this 260-day cycle is going to be about this energy. So, mastering our relationship, and it's going to come in at that time as well. So, to future pace it, it's going to come in to when we get to the Blue Castle. So, that's a heads up for everybody. What we're doing in this first 52-day cycle, in this first 13-day cycle, you're going to be shown what your survival issues are. If you know what your codes are, so for example, for me today, I'm repeating when I was 18 and what experiences I had then. People who I'm mapping their code for them, they will know what day it is for them. And what you realize is that we just keep repeating these storylines. So today I will be seeing themes from when I was 18 years of age. And whatever year that is for you, that will be being shown for you. If you haven't yet done this pattern, if you are under 52 years of age, depending on what your pattern is, this can be a future day for you. So, this is why if you feel you're ready to work at this level, then you can see how your future is being mapped today. And you can start to consciously create that. I mean, how wow is that? It is just amazing. Okay, so I hope you're still with me so far. So, again, to go into the future today, the next cycle is the 27th of August, 2026, and it will be in Virgo. It will be in moon number 2, the lunar moon, day 5. Now, just see how these cross over. Red lunar moon is the yellow star wave spell, which we just completed yesterday. So, whatever you were doing the last 13 days is going to be key to the next cycle of 260 days. That's in the Green Castle, and the planet is Mercury. The one that we're in now, I don't think I said that, but the planet is the asteroids. So it's new consciousness coming in. Now, if you are aware of the Tzolkin, then this will make sense to you. If you're not aware of the Tzolkin and you're not aware of the language at that level, then I'll try and put it in plain language for you. So, what we're working with in this cycle is what came before in Aries: new story, new start, new timeline. And now we're embodying that. We're seeing, okay, so I had all these ideas. I had this idea about what I was going to do in March 2025. And the universe also had ideas about what I was going to do based on my ancestral patterns and my potentiality and where I am on my path and how much consciousness I have, how free I am from any limiting patterns. This is the whole trip, remember, okay? How we can free ourselves, how we can become a queen, we can be sovereign. We're not a pawn anymore on the chessboard of life. We're not reactive anymore. We're centered, we're grounded, we're embodying a whole different energy from source. And this is the constant upgrade that we're going through. Okay, so we're now seeing, okay, so I had this idea that I was going to do all these businesses and I was going to do build this and have this particular type of relationship, and this is where I was going to live in the world, and so on and so on and so on. Okay, Now, when you're 20 years old, your body, if you're healthy, is going to have a different resonance to if you're 80 years old. And again, that's a generalization because there are some people who are 80 who are very, very healthy because they have been using systems of health and food wise, exercise wise, up here, passionate about life, what they do, not carrying a heavy emotional story, for example. And because this works all the way around, this template, it's holistic, it's on every level of our being a human being. And so, again, it's looking at where am I out of balance in life? Where am I not able to embody? Literally, how is my body holding me up? Holding up this big head, which is heavy. How is my brain functioning? Am I able to support myself financially, emotionally? Am I able to be at peace every day, to accept what's going on in the world, not to identify too much around it? All of that is very powerful. We're just looking to rebalance ourselves all the time. And hopefully, as we get older, we become wiser, we learn from our experiences, and we live from a wiser place. And we accept when a harsh lesson comes in, we realize that, okay, so I didn't learn last time, and now I'm going to have to experience it again. And what am I going to learn this time? What choices am I going to make that are going to create something for me? Because Virgo is very much about the sacred feminine. It's a reality check. It's seeing, it's earth energy. It's in the sixth house, traditionally, health, workplace, the sacred feminine. Am I remembering that I'm a sacred being? So much has been lost in our modern culture compared to how Indigenous people live, where they live in balance with the land, they live in balance with other beings. They know over thousands of years how to live in balance and not take too much and not destroy Mother Earth. Greedy humanity has created so much destruction for other beings and for Mother Earth. And this is not sustainable and will not continue. That's what this learning is about at this time. Lunar moon is very much about new learning and around our emotional story, around our polarity, where we feel at odds with other people, competitive. Again, all of this has been learned and has been encoded into people, and it isn't truth. Each person is unique, has their own gifts. There is no competition, only in the sense that it's been created, and it's been created as a distraction. It's being created for people to be at war with themselves, be at war with others, and really largely funded on ignorance and shadow. So, again, we want to look at what mindset did I have to create my life? Where did I get that mindset from? Every mindset is created. We learn it from going to school, who brought us up, how aggressive they were, how pushy they were in their mindset. Did we experience a benevolence in relationship where people were kind and allowed us to be ourselves, allowed us to be free to express ourselves, to speak our truth? Or were we often controlled, crushed, suppressed? So it's just really, going mining into ourselves and discovering what made up the core of us as a child and how we're still living that. So we really want to get in touch with our passion. And often that's hard to find, when we've gone through these challenging years and experiences. We're in hypervigilance mode. We close our heart down. We don't feel safe to be creative. Our mind literally limits what we can access because it says you don't need all that fluffy stuff. You just need to focus on what's going to keep you alive. And this is where we need to work on that. Otherwise, we're going to stay stuck in it and we're going to keep repeating that same story. We need to have courage. We need to light a fire. We need to be able to have that wisdom to unlock all of those secrets, unlock those gifts, and see our whole bigger picture now. Remember that we are here to change the world through changing ourselves. And once we really learn how this whole thing works, that we are the bridge, we are the gateway, we are the midwife. Everything that's been created on planet Earth has come through a person because of their ideas. Some of those ideas have been amazing and great. And, just look at what exists in certain places. It is mind blowing. And then also look at how does this serve us now? And then just bring all of that vision back to yourself. If you know what your ancestors created, if you're holding a lineage and some of that lineage you want to expand upon, then this is really key. The Future Cosmos story is about sustainability. It is about what's fair for everybody. It's about beauty. It's about joy. It's about peace. Feeling safe. Feeling that we can be who we want to be and express our gift. So this time is really about going backwards in time and releasing anything that created a feeling of being diminished, unworthy, unsafe, unloved. Once we let go of those wounding patterns, once we rewire them, we literally change our experience on a day-to-day basis. Remember, the universe brings us what we believe to be true. So we have to change and align with truth. And we absolutely can. So I wish you an amazing journey over the next 260 days and let that Sagittarius energy fire you up, expand your consciousness. And remember, we're all in this together. Every single person on the planet is in this to help us create something new. If you have any questions and you'd like to learn more, please do get in touch with me. I've got lots of resources coming soon. I've had a few last minute glitches as always. And this is, what new learning does, doesn't it? It's, you think you've got it, and then right at the last minute, you realize it needs a little tweak, and we just got to keep going, till we create the outcome that we want to create. So lots of love. Have a wonderful journey.